Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I'd like to continue on with answering your cinema-related questions. Back in April, I made a video where I asked you if you were interested to submit your cinema-related questions, and I would do my best to answer them. And I've tried to answer a number of them with respective videos. And so I would like to pick that up now with the next question that was kindly left behind, this time by our dear friend Jamie Ryan. So hello, Jamie. It's always nice to hear from you. And you say in your very great question, I find it's fun to ask people what double bills they'd love to program if given the opportunity. Always interesting to hear what people pick, especially when it's not an immediately obvious pairing. Double bills that have occurred to me recently are Exorcist 3 with Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Cure, Spike Lee's recent Da 5 Bloods with John Woo's Bullet in the Head, and the last Stray Cat Rock film, Beat 71, with Koreeda's Shoplifters. This is a very fascinating question, and I understand that you are asking for what people might come up with in terms of a double bill, a pairing of, say, one film and another. And you also say it's interesting to hear what people pick, especially when it's not an immediately obvious pairing. So there might be some reason, some common theme, or some similar treatment of source material or something, some kind of connectivity between one film and another, thus creating the link, thus creating the double bill, the pairing, as it were. Your examples, by the way, are really interesting. And I think also your question is very suggestive of the possibility that the combinations or the possibilities of combinations are quite infinite. And it depends also on one's mood, what one is watching in that given point in time when the question is asked, etc. So there's a lot of possibility, and I get that. And it also is very interesting too, because it can reveal a lot about the person answering the question and his or her own, say, tastes in cinema, what it is that that person is watching at the moment, and also how that person is viewing a particular set of films. And maybe there is a connection that they spot that is something that is new for someone else, and so this yet provides further exploration and discussion, and the possibilities are endless. So it's a really great question, so thank you so much for this. And so for me, maybe it's, as I say, it's really difficult to try to come up with definitive examples for me. So just let me give you just a couple examples here, and then I apologize if my answers are not satisfactory, but just to give you a sense maybe of where I am at the moment, excuse me. So for example, I was speaking with a friend and viewer through YouTube on the comment section on some videos that I had done discussing the works of Dario Argento, and I really admire the works of Dario Argento, and there are some in particular that I still to this day am totally floored by in terms of the overall impact that watching the films has on me and has had on me over the course of many years since I was very young. One of those films is the film Opera, sometimes known as in English as Terror at the Opera, but I think now more recently, especially given a number of recent physical media releases in North America and Europe, etc., I think it's now known more generally as Opera, at least in English. And It was in the mid-'80s, and it's one of Dario Argento's really stellar visual treats, and it has some of the most striking use of camera in order to achieve a visual flair and flourish, and also as a means of representing or projecting or otherwise trying to present in visual terms something that could be said to be an expression of something interior. In other words, the use of the camera and visual techniques in order to, say, represent the chaos, as it were, of the world, and as caused by certain characters that inhabit that, and the psychological turmoil that some characters in particular are undergoing in a particular moment. Thus, in other words, Dario Argento's filmmaking or cinema is giving cinematic expression to the psychological turmoil of the characters, and I think opera is a great example of this. There are some really brilliant, totally brilliant camera techniques, and there's a particular flourish of a swirling, moving camera movement, circular in motion, and it goes round and round and round to represent something very mysterious and also very within the world of Argento, quite iconic. And it's very clever, and it's unlike anything that it's unlike many. It's really just mind-boggling just how genius it is. It's really genius move, and it reminds me of a similar type of cinematic or camera technique that's found in another film that I've been recently rewatching or been recently influenced or engaged with at the moment, which is the Brian De Palma film, which is called Obsession. And the film Obsession has a similar type of swirl, confusion, feel about it in a way that I think is purposefully applied. In other words, it's a film that is about a sense of identity, but also trying to get a grasp as to what one's surroundings are and how utterly confusing certain situations can be, especially when you're dealing with very intense emotional situations. And that is also made so expressly visual and brilliant. In other words, the visual flourishes are connected so inherently with the emotional turmoil of the character or characters, plural. And thus, there is also in that conversation a similar type of cinematic flourish or camera flourish in terms of a moving or roving camera movement that is so many things at once, and it's like an explosion of a type of fireworks of possibility. And I find that particular moment is very much like this moment that I was mentioning in the Argento film Opera. And so maybe we can pair those two, Opera and the film Obsession, the Brian De Palma work and then the Dario Argento work. Another pairing that I was thinking of was from two filmmakers that I have expressed such a great deal of admiration for. And those two filmmakers are Edward Yang and Yasujiro Ozu. And I was thinking about the film, one of my absolute favorite films, which is called A Brighter Summer Day. And this is the Edward Yang film, A Brighter Summer Day. It is well, I've spoken about it on a number of occasions. And I've had the great honor of being able to speak a little bit about it, and I still marvel at the intricate nature of it and the truly intense emotional impact. And I always find myself learning so much about certain things, and I watch the film and I realize just how little I know about the world in this particular context, and so I understand that I really need to learn more, and at the same time it always leaves me with a sense of so many emotions, sometimes even dueling emotions, that some are quite wonderfully resolved, and others are so mysteriously and quite brilliantly left unresolved. And this always happens to me every time I watch this brilliant work from Edward Yang, which is called A Brighter Summer Day. Now, one of the themes, or one of the themes that could be said to be a part of the discussion or engagement of the film A Brighter Summer Day, is the idea of childhood and the way in which, children or adolescents or characters that are in this particular age group or age groups, how they are each dealing in their own ways with many things about the world, meeting people, explorations about their own selves and their own identities, especially in the context of this particular set of environments that we are presented with in this particular film. And I think in that way, it could pair really nicely with the Yasujiro Ozu film, which is called Good Morning, Ohayo, because this Yasujiro Ozu film called Good Morning deals quite brilliantly with the notion, not just of, well, it deals with childhood and children characters, and it not just deals with the idea of children characters, but the idea of conflict between, say, this age class and characters that find themselves in, say, a different age class. And this idea or notion of communication and conflict between and among the various age groups, and how that is presented in maybe a playful way, but also in a somewhat serious way, and also in a way that gives pause to provide some kind of really lovely and subtle commentary on the nature of society at the time. We're talking about Japan, and the interplay between, say, parents and children, and family dynamics and bonds. And the presentation is also so Ozu, the director Yasujiro Ozu, in the way that characters are framed, information is presented or withheld, and the type of situational, say, comedy or drama that arises due to these various, say, combinations of character and situation that are presented to us within this film. It is a very fascinating example of this kind of exploration from Ozu, the film Good Morning. And so in that way, I thought it would be really interesting to pair the Ozu film Good Morning with the Edward Yang film A Brighter Summer Day. To have those paired up, I think that would be interesting. So those are my two examples that I give here. So the first example being Brian De Palma's Obsession and Dario Argento's Opera. That's one pairing. And another pairing is Yasujiro Ozu's Good Morning with Edward Yang's A Brighter Summer Day. So anyway, I hope that is that's an okay answer. And Jamie Ryan, once again, I want to thank you for a really brilliant question. I really enjoy that. So thank you very much, my dear friend, and I very much hope that this video finds you well. And then for everyone else who might be interested in this particular question, what cinema pairings, do you have that you would like to share with us? I would love to hear what it is you have to say in response to this great question from our dear friend, Jamie Ryan. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. Really, I very, very much appreciate it. Truly, I do. I know everyone is busy, and I know things can be somewhat hectic with various things that can happen. So I always appreciate the time that you are willing to spend stopping by here. And really, I do. Thank you so much for that. And always stay happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great movies. So thank you so much, as always, for your time. And cheers.